morning, everyone. Welcome to the Business of Property. We're just about to go live on a Property Development Australia Facebook page. For anyone who wants to join in the Zoom chat room, I believe there is an invitation. Hold on. I'm just going to copy the URL and pop it in the comment section. Otherwise, we are on the live, and I'd like to welcome, this is a bit exciting. We've been working on a bit of a collaboration. I've got Tom, Dave, and Robert from Square and Around, a bit of a big wave. Alex is watching on the sidelines. Thanks, Alex, for joining. And it's mentioned, what I might do is ask if you guys wouldn't mind muting, and then it will sort of filter out any of that feedback. Square and the Round and Property Development Australia have come together as a bit of a collaboration and a partnership to offer an educational hub. You know, we've obviously, the whole idea of Property Development Australia has always been to educate, to empower, and to elevate property developers. And it was really good timing that Tom is putting together pretty much a platform to be able to deliver a whole lot of different types of masterclasses. And then we started talking about how we could have classes, and it's almost like a menu of different topics and things that are relevant to property developers, that is easily accessible and again also affordable for everyone. And so I'd like to be able to again introduce you to Tom, Dave, and Robert, and I'll let the three of you sort of, you know, give everyone a little bit of a spiel about your bio and who you are. Hey Tony, how are you doing? Welcome.
Good, Cheryl. Hi.
I thought you got bored and just went, nah, I'm leaving.
Well, I had some Zoom issues. I don't know why, but anyway, we got it now.
That's Zoom issues for you. Welcome. Sorry, Tom, if you would kindly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Square and the Round.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Cheryl, and good evening all. Wrapped to be on board and wrapped to be with all of you. So Tom Mifsud is my name, and myself, you know, Square and the Round is a purpose and a platform, as what Cheryl's described, that looks to support the talent of tomorrow and everyday people who are looking to maximise their full potential in areas that they're looking to seek out. The purpose relates to my own experience, like most of our experiences do, and it's still very much in the startup phase. But it's a purpose that I believe where if we can provide the right content in the right environment with the right people at the right time, we can make a significant difference. But we do it, as Cheryl's mentioned, in a collaborative way. So to give you an idea of some of the things that we've been doing, Squaring around to date, we run a live Zoom forum similar to this forum every fortnight Thursday, where we invite some of Australia's leading entrepreneurs to join in a discussion. So not a Q&A, but a discussion that touches on things like entrepreneurship, career, purpose, career progression, success, that often delves into the richness of the specific topic that we're talking about, but allows people to create really good networks, ask the questions that we're often asking, but build a following and a gathering where people create and add some real value. So we're really proud of what we're doing there, and we continue to run that every fortnight Thursday. Where we've looked to really pivot and try to make some difference and impact now is through our Property Development Hub, and teamed up with the gentleman on the call, David and Rob, who I'll throw to in a second, passionate about property, live and breathe it, aspiring and successful to date property developers themselves, both through individual and joint ventures upcoming, and have a lot that we want to relate to and can relate to, and have come together and share the same purpose, which is how can we give back to those, partner with the talent of tomorrow, and make a serious difference to those involved in property. So that's essentially a bit about me and Square and the Round, and a bit what we're trying to achieve through this partnership. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to share my screen also, and I'm going to introduce Rob Katoggio, who will talk a bit about himself. Rob, do you want to go for it, mate?
Hi guys, thanks Tom and Cheryl. It's a pleasure to be a part of this. As Tom touched on, he approached us a little while ago about, I guess, leveraging his platform and offering and sharing our experiences, you know, and putting together a class on property development for, I guess, entry-level people that have a real passion for it, like myself and Dave do. So yeah, I jumped at that opportunity, and I guess a bit about myself. I sort of come from a construction background. I've grown up with a family of construction professionals, and my father himself was a property developer, and that's what sort of got me into it. So I work in construction currently. I've worked in construction for the last 12 years since I graduated at uni, predominantly in apartment complex space, a bit of commercial fit out, and then mainly residential new build in the last 2 to 3 years. So I've got a bit of experience now in property development. Tom's got a slide up at the moment. I'm sure you can see there's a few projects there. There's one that's not up at the moment, but I'm from Melbourne. Around the inner Melbourne suburbs, I've done a small project in Ascot Vale, which is listed there in the photos. Show that's the two side by side with the red brick. That was a two-story, 2-bedroom townhouse project in Ascot Vale. I'm not sure if you'll be familiar with it. And the other one's another project in Essendon, which is inner city Melbourne as well. So yeah, that's just a bit about me, and Dave will introduce himself, and then we'll touch on a bit about the class that we want to talk about as well.
Thanks, Rob.
G'day, thanks for that. All right, I'm also having some issues by the sounds of things, but that's all right. I think I'm up and running. G'day, my name's David DiStefano. Now, I guess I call myself a banker by trade, because deep down, that's what I think I am. I worked at a Big Four bank for just short of 10 years, and predominantly within the commercial property space. So that's where my property background came from. I was funding a lot of developments, small and medium scale developments, and really working with the whole project team, with the developer, with the project managers, with the builders, and just really understanding what it takes and what they were going through to complete their projects. And I thought I'd have a crack at it, really. That's where it basically all stemmed from. So I got the inspiration there. I stole a few of their tricks, or maybe just leveraged off them. I probably won't use steal. Since then, I've moved to a private financier. So I'm now at a non-bank financier, and I still fund commercial property developments all across the eastern seaboard. So still kept in the game, still have my finger on the pulse, and that just keeps me pretty up to date, I feel, with what's going on in the property world. In terms of the slide on your screen, you'll see a few small scale inner city Melbourne developments, which I've had a hand in at least and completed. I think largely you need to try and keep it as simple as possible, because it can get very confusing very quickly, I think, is a piece of advice. So if you can just make sure you can keep bringing it back to the basics and have a good team with you, you can produce some nice looking little properties.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave, and thanks, Rob. Cheryl, I might just give a quick overview, if that's okay, of the Masterclass program we've put together, so to give context to the group, and from there I'll get Dave and Rob to talk through the detail of that. Is it okay if we transition into that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So as really important, as Cheryl mentioned up front, you know, an education hub is something that that she's wanting to bring to the audience. And you know, we've sort of come in at the right time, passionate about, you know, pushing and providing the right level of content to a group that might require it. So, you know, I will preface that up front, right? This is the first of many that we hope we deliver in a quality and effective way for this group. And we'll do that through feedback. What we propose today might look different, hopefully in 6 to 9 months' time, as we continue to build an outstanding relationship with this group, okay? But as we launch this education hub, we've taken an approach where we've looked at the poll results that come in, and it was flagged a week or so back in the group. We've also leveraged the experience and expertise of both Dave and Rob, but other aspiring property developers within our network, and also the dynamic of most online groups where information is there and accessible for you, but do people really know where to go to get that information? And that's why we've taken a bit of a push approach, all right? So it might not meet the needs of everyone, and we acknowledge that. We hope it meets the needs of us, but we have felt that to kick this off, if we have a planned push approach with some content we can build, and then as the program continues, through your feedback, you know, that can be curated to whatever it needs to look like moving forward. Okay, so this slide just gives you a bit of a summary of what the master. So it's a masterclass. It's a session per week on a Wednesday, commencing the 10th of June, and it'll be all on Zoom, and it'll be hosted by Rob and Dave. And they will talk through. I'll pass back to them now as I'll talk through what you can expect week on week. But online platform, ability to share resources, connect, network, and a great thing will be we develop a bit of a mini community on these forums where the topics can follow through and carry on, and create some great synergies on those forums. All right, so then I'm going to just now move into the next slide. And once Rob and Dave talk through the detail, we'll stop, and then we'll throw it out there for plenty of questions, comments, and discussions. All right, so if you've got questions, just hang tight, make note of them, and we'll get to them shortly. Rob, do you want to talk and open up about week 1?
Yeah, definitely. So I guess we've put together a 4-week class that we think targets the fundamentals of property development, especially at an entry level when you're looking to get some skin in the game. So week 1 will be mainly focused on starting out and where do you start? Who do you speak to? Essentially understanding the importance of surrounding yourself with the right team of professionals, the things you should be doing first before you know, sourcing your property, just key things that you need to understand about property development, and the importance of consultants, the importance, I guess, of the builder, and then, you know, another topic that Dave will touch on in more detail is feasibility and finance, which is sometimes the most critical aspect of property development, and it can be the most difficult aspect as well. So yeah, week 1 will be based on starting out and the fundamentals and what you need to be considering before venturing on this journey.
And before I go to Dave for week 2, Rob, and this is not to tell anyone how to suck eggs, so to speak, but why do we decide that this topic was the first topic to kick off with in terms of the structure of the masterclass?
Sorry, what was that, Tom? Why
do we feel starting out building a team was the first main topic that we kicked off with from a masterclass?
Well, I think it's the burning question everyone has. Just from my experience, when I first started, it was all it was a bit up in the air. I didn't really know where to start, and I learned, I guess, over the journey that there's some key fundamentals that you need to know, and a few things that you need to have in place, which you know will lead you to, I guess, your first project for those entry-level developers. So it's just drawing from that experience. It can be confusing. There's a range of consultants that you should really be engaging with at the start, and it can be, you know, accountants, financiers, you know, having a good architect. You know, first and foremost, understanding your financial position, because that's critical to any development. You might think you can buy a site and do X, Y, Z, but yeah, you generally, your first base is always getting your finance right. So that was one of the things that I learned along the way, and it's just given that general direction to people about, what they should be considering first, because that's the most critical element, I think.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thanks, mate. Dave, do you want to jump into weeks 2 and 3?
Yeah, sure. First up, by just reiterating a few points that Rob touched on, that you can't get into really the any next steps until you've got your right team. I see property developers as a bit of a jack of all trades. Yeah, I'd like to think I know a bit about everything, but I'm probably a master at none, except that I'm in finance. So maybe I'll give myself the tick for finance, but we don't know everything. You really don't. So you need to use the experts, which sort of leads on to I guess the feasibility point is the fact that you need to bring all those experts, all that information that they gave you all together to create your feasibility. So if you look at well, first and foremost, you need to understand what your strategy is. And if you don't understand what your strategy is, I think it can all fall away pretty quickly. So it's just formulating that strategy. What are the key drivers there and what metrics are important? Once you can understand what your end game is, I think it can really help. It's looking at a capable town plan, architect and town planner. Build that relationship with them. They are happy to help. That's what I found. They were really happy to impart their knowledge onto you. Research the end product. Get real estate agents to help you do this. Again, that they're happy to help. I guess in my experience, and there's always something in it for all these consultants at the end of the day. So you'll find everyone is warm and welcoming and happy to help when asked for. It's trying to engage builders early. So when you're trying to build that feasibility, obviously you need to try and understand what your core construction costs might look like. It's hard for the non-builders to understand what it costs to build a townhouse, 2 townhouses, whatnot. Maybe just try and understand the complexities and the size of the development. And that's what we can go through, just trying to get a feel for how we can position sort of 2 townhouse developments together and 3 townhouse developments together. And then we can try and understand a square metre rate or something along those lines. It's really going to help you build that correct feasibility. Just after that feaso is done, you need to understand the finance part. And again, we can talk you through how what your options are. You need to talk again to your consultants here, but just understanding the difference between banks and non-banks. There are plenty of options, and I think that if non-banks aren't, major banks aren't always the key to help you succeed in your property development. So let's explore what non-banks can do for you. There's consumer lending, there's commercial lending. It comes with a whole ton of different implications there. So just really need to understand your feasibility and your finance aspects, and that's just really going to drive you a good project.
Thanks, Dave. Property sourcing and the builder and design. Rob, do you want to cover that?
I might jump into site sourcing if I could, just while I'm hogging the screen. Look, site sort. I tried to rank these we tried to rank it as a priority, but we worked out that they're all one more important than the other. So you got to understand your financial capacity, as Rob mentioned. You got to understand what your strategy is. You got to understand what you can do by building out your feasibility. Then you go and looking for a site. Then you got to be proactive. You're calling your agent and you're telling them that you're ready to buy. Look, I'm not a real estate agent, and again, I don't want to speak for any real estate agents, but my view is that if you tell a real estate agent that you're ready to buy, they're going to love you, and they're going to give you, potentially off-market opportunities or something like that. We'll move into understanding land sizes, topography, site trees, the zoning, any precedent that's been set on the site. Just a whole bunch of elements of a particular site that can hinder or enhance the ability to go and develop a really strong project.
Thanks. Rob, do you want to bring us home?
Yeah, and finally, I guess week 4, the 4th dot point there, it's about the builder and the design. So that's something where I've got a lot of experience in, having been in construction my whole life. And it's about, I guess, once you've found your site and you're looking to, I guess, develop the land for whatever purpose or whatever amount of units or dwellings you intend to put on it, it's important and critical to obviously have the right builder, but also the design and potentially value managing the right finishes with your architect that can keep your costs down, but at the same time, you don't want to be delivering, cheap projects. You want to be delivering efficient projects with good finishes, but it's about understanding the costs associated with particular finishes and how you can sort of balance your costs versus quality. So then there's also the builder, and that's obviously a scary process in that with appointing a builder that you may not have had any dealings with, or you're only trusting their reputation. So there's a lot of elements to consider there, particularly when it comes to signing that contract with the builder. There's a lot of things that, unless you're involved in the game of building, you might miss key factors or points that a builder might have in a build contract that might cost you more money when it comes to actually building the project, but you're not aware of it. So yeah, I guess the week four is then that I guess it's you've successfully bought your land and you've sourced your site, you've got your feasibility in place. And it's about getting that last box ticks, getting the design right, getting the builder right, so you can then make that a profitable venture. Yeah, so they all tie into each other. There'll be a lot of cross-referencing throughout the different weeks because it's just the nature of property development. And there's just a lot of things to not necessarily be a master of, but as we touched on earlier, you've got to have the right team. That's what I found. The right team of professionals can really lead you, to a successful outcome. So yeah, that's definitely critical.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Dave. Well done. Well, we'll stop talking for a second. Might throw it out there for any questions, comments.
I might start if I can, gentlemen. Tell us a little bit about how the format of these classes are going to be run and sort of timing wise as well. So you mentioned it's going to be on is it Wednesdays?
Yeah, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. We'll allow from 75 to 90 minutes. But yeah, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. As you can see on the slide here, the use of case studies, real life examples from both Rob and Dave, where they relate to past projects. I'm sure that they can talk to you about some of the things they're doing now as well and how that can relate to the topics. But there'll be 15-20 minutes for every session around Q&A that will be allowed. No homework or anything like that. But knowing that some of these topics might yield some research in between based on the engagement of the audience, and they're the stuff that would come into that could flow into the following week.
Okie dokie. I mean, and I guess the great thing about this, and we all know it's sort of a work in progress, is that where you're able to see that students are wanting a bit more information and you can delve further, that's how we're curating further masterclasses. Say, for example, what I can see from here is probably a class around how do you market your project. How do you go selecting your agent and so on and so forth. What considerations that needs to be. And so I think it's really important that what this whole education hub is to be able to, in its core, to be able to cater to what the community is wanting. And it's really important that we get the feedback from anyone that attends these, to give feedback to say, I want to delve further into this. And it could be even with feasibilities, because feasibilities, you've got feasibilities for land subdivisions, townhouses, units, mixed use, commercial, and all sorts of things, right? And that is a whole masterclass in itself. So I think it's really exciting to see how this will unravel and develop across the next few months as well. Okay, cost. Is there after class support and mentoring?
So in terms of cost, that's on the screen here. So thanks, Alex, for your question. $400 is your cost. We've got a discount offer that's live on our website, and there's the link that can take you there. In terms of mentoring, I'll probably throw it to Rob and Dave, to be honest. Mentoring and
yeah. So both myself and Dave, we're already business partners, but that's another after service, I guess, from the class that we can provide to whoever would like that service. Obviously, we have that experience in myself construction, and I can provide a lot of assistance on the construction side of things, whether it comes to engaging builders and what to look out for, and Dave with finance specifically, and then broadly, just generally with I guess property and recommending a lot of consultants, a network that we have that we work with at the moment that assists us with our projects. So it's certainly something we'll be offering as well.
We love talking about it so much that we'll be remiss not to want to talk more about it after the class.
It's very true.
I've got a comment here from David on the Facebook Live. David's based in Brisbane. David, these guys are based in Melbourne, just to let you know. But he did ask if he can engage the team to help with his future projects when he's finance ready. David, probably good to have a chat to the other David about finance to begin with. And also to give them a bit of an idea of the type of projects you're doing, because David Ng is looking to deliver some community housing type product, which is quite unique and quite specific there. So it is something that probably needs a little bit of creative finance in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a specialised asset class, and I can absolutely happy to delve into how banks and non-banks actually might look into that as well. So yeah, absolutely happy to take some questions offline if that's easier.
Cool. Yeah. So David, we'll definitely leave some contact details at the end of this session. But again, the whole idea was to be able to introduce everyone to what it is that we're working on together. Obviously, these guys are the ones that are helping put together the sessions, but it's imperative that any particular topic that you're wanting to learn more about, and we're understanding, and this is not to take away from the coaches and the educators out there who are probably staring daggers at this screen right now. You guys deliver an excellent service, but this is complementary to that. There are a lot of people in the community who want to learn about development, are looking for mentoring, there's, and then an education that's affordable and easily accessible. What this allows us to do is to allow you to almost pick out like a menu, to be able to say, all right, well, this week I'm going to be, for the next 4 weeks, I want to be learning about this. And it could be options, it could be land subdivisions, and that's what will eventually roll out as part of this. Did I sort of say the right thing there, Tom?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, as you mentioned at the start, and I kind of mentioned earlier, this is the first of many. What we do this time around will look very different, in 6 months' time. My background, so my day job, I work at National Australia Bank. I've been leading large teams in small business for the last 6 years, and a big part of my role has been around how we onboard new employees to be successful in their roles, and we've been proactively changing the way we deliver education to meet the needs of the guys, of the team. And we've done that through getting feedback from the group, learning from the past, and trying different things, right? So very much, as Cheryl's explained very well, how we deliver today will look very different in the future. But we will do that by working with you and the broader group and the broader coaches as well to share that experience and make sure we provide meaningful content.
Yeah. And we're talking about coaches. You're also talking about people who are not necessarily, Rob, David, or yourself, as well. Yeah. And we'll pull in different experts from different areas as well. Absolutely. Cool. So you've got details of the session there. Kickoff 10th of June. If anyone has any questions, definitely pop it in the comments section in the Facebook Live on the Facebook page. Otherwise, does anyone have any other final questions before we sort of wrap things up? No. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for your kind words there. Again, it's sort of a work in progress.
Good on you guys. Fantastic. I'm like you guys, kicking off a new side hustle, and it's a challenge to put yourself out there. So keep doing what you're doing, and your passion will bring you through. And as Gary V says, get out there, document, and just give. Jab, 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 right hook. So yeah.
Jab, jab, jab. Tony's been doing a lot of it. I have to say, Tony, I've been a huge fan of what you've been doing. You definitely put yourself out there. I know getting onto Facebook Lives when you first did was a little bit uncomfortable and all of that. But look at you now, you're like a Facebook star. Oh,
look, I'm writing a white page at the moment on the NCC 2019 BCA for waterproofing and AS 3740.
Is that English? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Can you decipher all those acronyms, please?
You know, that's the thing, and Thomas and Robert and Dave will understand, and so will Alex.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got that. National Construction Code something.
National Construction Code
2019,
that was the addition, and it's the Building Code of Australia. But the thing is, people want to build, people want to do something, but they don't speak our language. So what we all need to do is we need to break it down, and that's why I've taken the table and turned it into a document that people can read. And I do this every day of the week, and I look at it sometimes and think, this is confusing the shit out of me after 40 years. So how is someone supposed to waterproof their bloody bathroom or understand what someone's doing when I'm finding it challenging? So I'm, as I said, guys, I'm building stuff every day of the week myself, and I went back to a document that the NBA wrote that was the original internal waterproofing document that they wrote years ago, back in late 80s. And I was sitting here reading it tonight, and it's just full of information. So keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations. I really look forward to seeing you in the marketplace, and I know we'll catch up at some stage. Absolutely. And good on you, Cheryl. I really enjoy what you're doing as well. And
thank you.
You just kicked off and you just kept going, and of course our little environment, you know, everyone, Luke and Rob and Tony Meredith have all said, hey, you know, get out there, watch what Cheryl's doing, and Davina, and that's who we are. Because yeah, I'm only 61. I've got another 30 years to go. Let's do it. 40 at least. Yeah. I want to retire. I want to chill out and go fishing and own a tiny house for 10 years before I, you know, hit 100. So I'll work from another 30.
Good on you, Tony. I love it. I do have some questions popping up. Hold on 1 second. Peter Trong's asking, is the 400 for the whole course or each subject webinar? It's for the whole course.
Yep. And $50 off if you register before Sunday.
VIP rates. I can't see if there are any other comments here because I've done something funny on my page. Any other comments, like I said, or, you know, are you happy for people who are willing to be, you know, experts in terms of contributing to the community as well to reach out to you, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. How would be the best way we communicate our details? Is it
I'll pop it. Yeah, actually, you just share it with me, and I'll pop it on the Facebook post. I'll also put an announcement that we can pin up about the classes. We'll put out the events and things like that, and also anyone that's interested and who is, you know, an expert in their field and looking to contribute to the community in some way or form, reach out to me, reach out to Tom. We can talk about how that looks and feels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool bananas. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks, Ray, Alex, Dave, Tony, Tom.
Thanks, Cheryl, for organizing it.
Not a problem, Rob. Cheers. Have a good evening.
See ya.
And I'm ready. Yeah, I'm really excited to be kicking these off. This is great, guys.
Yeah, good on you, Cheryl.
Should be
All
great.
right. Ciao.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Bye bye.